Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivijayacharya Stotra Shata Shishimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivijayacharya Ashtottara Shata Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki. All glories to Samvadavaris Hare Krishna. All glories to Samvadavaris Hare Krishna. All glories to Samvadavaris Hare Krishna. All glories to Samvadavaris. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. So here, reading from, just trying to figure out what verse we're up to here. We're on 10, you're right. Okay. Okay, so it's up there. Okay. Pravartate yatra rajas tamas tayoho sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikramaha na yatra maya kim utapare harir anuvrata yatra surasuraarchitah chitaha pravartate yatra rajastamastayoho Sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikramaha. Na yatra maya kimutapade hare. Anuvarta yatra surasura chitaha. Pravartate yatra rajastamastayoho. Sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikramaha. Na yatra maya kimutapare hare. Anuvarta yatra surasura chitaha. Pravartate yatra rajastamastayoho. Sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikramaha. Na yatra maya kimutapade hare. Anuvrata yatra surasura chitaha. Vartate Sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikramaha. Nayatra maya kimutapare hare. Anuvrata yatra surasura chitaha. Pravartate yatra rajastamastayoho. Sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikramaha. Na yatra maya kimutapare hare. Anuvrata yatra surasura chitaha. Pravartate yatra rajastamastayoho. Sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikramaha. Na yatra maya kimutapare hare. Anuvrata yatra surasura chitaha. Pravartate yatra rajastamastayo. Sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikramaha. Na yatra maya kimutapare hare. Hare. Anuvrata yatra surasura chitaha. Matajis. Nayatra maya kimutapare hare. Anuvrata yatra surasura chitaha. Anyone else? Okay. Pravartate, prevail. Yatra, wherein. Rajaha, tamaha, the modes of passion and ignorance. Tayoho, of both of them. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Cha, and. Mishram, mixture. Na, never. Cha, and. Kala, time. Vikramaha, influence. Na, neither. Yatra, therein. Maya, illusory, external energy. Kim, what? Uta, there is. Apare, others. Hare, of the personality of Godhead. Anuvritaha, devotees. Yatra, wherein. Sura, by the demigods. Asura, and the demons. Architaha, worshipped. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: in the personal abode of the Lord, the material modes of ignorance and passion do not prevail, nor is there any of their influence in goodness. Okay. There is no predominance of the influence of time, so what to speak of illusory external energy? It cannot enter that region. Without discrimination, both the demigods and the demons worship the Lord as devotees. Purport: the kingdom of God, or the atmosphere of Vaikuntha nature, which is called the Tripada Vibhuti, is 3 times bigger than the material universe and is described here as in the Bhagavad Gita in a nutshell. This universe, containing billions of stars and planets, is one of the billions of such universes clustered together within the compass of the Mahatattva. And all these millions and billions of universes combined together constitute only 1/4 of the magnitude of the whole creation of the Lord. There is the spiritual sky also. Beyond the sky are the spiritual planets under the names of Vaikuntha, and all of them constitute 3/4 of the entire creation of the Lord. God's creations are always innumerable. Even the leaves of a tree cannot be counted by a man, nor can the hairs on his head. However, foolish men are puffed up with the idea of becoming God Himself, though unable to create a hair of their own bodies. Man may discover so many wonderful vehicles of journey, but even if they reach the moon by his much advertised spacecraft, he cannot remain there. The sane man, therefore, without being puffed up, and if he were the God, as if he were the God of the universe, abides by the instruction of the Vedic literatures, the easiest way to acquire knowledge and transcendence. So let us, through the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam, let us know through the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam of the nature and constitution of the transcendental world beyond the material sky. In that sky, the material qualities, especially the mode of ignorance and passion, are completely absent. The mode of ignorance influences a living entity to the habit of lust and hankering, and this means that the Vaikuntha Lokas, the living entities, are free from these 2 things. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Brahma Bhuta stage of life, one becomes free from hankering and lamentation. Therefore, the conclusion is that the inhabitants of Vaikuntha planets are all Brahma Bhuta living entities, as distinguished from the mundane creatures who are all compact in hankering and lamentation. When one is not in the mode of ignorance and passion, one is supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness in the material world. Goodness in the material world also at times becomes contaminated by touches of the modes of passion and ignorance. In the Vaikuntha, it is unalloyed goodness only. The whole situation there is one of freedom from the illusory manifestation of the external energy. Although illusory energy is also a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, illusory energy is differentiated from the Lord. The illusory energy is not, however, false, as claimed by the monist philosophers. The rope accepted as a snake may be an illusion to a particular person, but the rope is a fact, and the snake is also a fact. The illusion of water on the hot desert may be illusion for the ignorant animal searching for water in the desert, but the desert and water are actual facts. Therefore, the material creation of the Lord may be an illusion to the non-devotee, but to a devotee, even the material creation of the Lord is a fact, and the manifestation of His external energy, and the manifestation of His external energy. But this energy of the Lord is not at all. The Lord has His internal energy also, is not all. The Lord has His internal energy also, which has another creation known to be the Vaikuntha Lokas, where there is no ignorance, no passion, no illusion, and no past and present. With a poor fund of knowledge, one may be unable to understand the existence of such things as the Vaikuntha atmosphere, but that does not nullify its existence. That spacecraft cannot reach these planets does not mean that there are no planets, for they are described in the revealed scriptures. As quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami, we can know from the Narada Pancharatra that the transcendental world of Vaikuntha atmosphere is enriched with transcendental qualities. These transcendental qualities are revealed through devotional service to the Lord, are distinct from mundane qualities of ignorance, passion, and goodness. Such qualities are not attainable by the non-devotee class of men. In the Padma Purana Uttarakanda, it is stated that beyond the 1/4 part of God's creation is the 3/4 manifestation. The marginal line between the material manifestation and the spiritual manifestation is the Viraja river. And beyond the Viraja river, which is a transcendental current flowing from the perception of the perspiration of the body of the Lord, there is the 3/4 manifestation of God's creation. This part is eternal, everlasting, without deterioration, and unlimited, and it contains the highest perfectional stage of the living condition. In the Sankhya Kaumudi, it is stated that the unalloyed goodness or transcendence is just opposite to the material modes. All the living entities there are eternally associated without any break, and the Lord is the chief and prime entity. In the Agama Puranas, also the transcendental abode is described here. The associated members there are free to go everywhere within the creation of the Lord, and there is no limit to such creation, particularly in the region of the 3/4 magnitude. Since the nature of that region is unlimited, there is no history of such association, nor is there end of it. The conclusion may be drawn that because of complete absence of mundane qualities of ignorance and passion, there is no question of creation nor of annihilation. In the material world, everything is created and everything is annihilated, and the duration of life between the creation and annihilation is temporary. In the transcendental realm, there is no creation and no destruction, and thus the duration of life is eternal unlimitedly. In other words, everything in the transcendental world is everlasting, full of knowledge and bliss without deterioration. Since there is no deterioration, there is no past, present, and future in the estimation of time. It is clearly stated in this verse that the influence of time is conspicuous by its absence. The whole material existence is manifested by action and reaction of elements which make the influence of time prominent in the matter of past, present, and future. There are no such actions and reactions of cause and effects there, so the cycle of birth, growth, existence, transformation, deterioration, and annihilation, the 6 material changes, are not existent there. It is the unalloyed manifestation of the energy of the Lord without illusion as experienced here in the material world. The whole Vaikuntha existence proclaims that everyone there is a follower of the Lord. The Lord is the chief leader there without any competition for leadership, and the people in general are all followers of the Lord. It is confirmed in the Vedas, therefore, that the Lord is the chief leader and all other living entities are subordinate to him, for only the Lord satisfies all the needs of other living entities. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjanishlakaya Chakshuranitamena Tasmai Shri Guru Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupakathamayam Tatati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyutapatakalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagar Chatam Sagar Raghunathan Vitam Sadhuitam Savitam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagar Narita Shri Vichakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanda Namaste Tapta Kanchana Radhe Vrindavani Sarveshvani Siti Devi Pranamami Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo 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 Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtabhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamitine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtabhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamitine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharne Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Desatarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jnananandam Mayam Devam Nirmashpati Kakriti Madharam Sarva Vidyanam Hare Ekrim Upasmahe. So here the Prabhupada is described everything pretty elaborately here, and it's pretty clear, although there's a lot packed into this purport. It's pretty straightforward understanding of the Krishna conscious and the movement and the philosophy of the Krishna consciousness movement. It's the basic understanding of the material world, what is matter, what is spirit, who's the controller of both. Of course, it's amazing and wonderful, but it is quite elaborately explained here. And a lot of these things that Prabhupada is explaining are perhaps things that I don't really need to speak more on because it's pretty clear. I'll mention it again, but there's a few things in here that are very important in how Srila Prabhupada presents this purport and how he is the things that he speaks about. Of course, he touches on some of the subject matters that is being, the translation that is being spoken about here. In the personal abode of the Lord, the material modes of ignorance and passions do not prevail, nor is there any of their influence and goodness. There is no prominence of influence of time. So what to speak of illusory external energy? It cannot enter that region. Without discrimination, both the demigods and the demons worship the Lord as devotees. So here, the transcendental world is starting to be described of what that is like. And so Srila Prabhupada gives some understandings of that, how that this is only a fourth of the material universes. The material world is only a fourth of it. The rest of it is actually the spiritual world. And so here Srila Prabhupada quickly hammers on the Mayavad point of how men are puffed up with the idea of becoming gods themselves, though unable to create a hair of their own bodies. So Srila Prabhupada quickly hits on that point, and you'll see throughout our line of acharyas, they hit on that point over and over again. Because Srila Prabhupada could speak about, here in this purport, about the transcendental nature of the pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan, and how wonderful they are, and exactly what is going on, like you see in all these amazing windows to the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada could easily dive into that and describe that. But again and again, if you examine his purport, he hammers on these points of how men are foolishly thinking that they are God themselves, how that these people are of very low character, or they're actually not fit for liberation. That such people, Prabhupada would say that I shall kick them in the face with boots. And so you see this throughout our sampradaya, you see this throughout our line of disciplic succession of smashing Mayavad. And so, our acharyas speak about Mayavad quite a lot. Our acharyas, you see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur very strong in doing that, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and going all the way to Madhva Acharya, who is the very staunchly absolutely just destroying and just crushing Mayavad to just dirt and then squishing them. He was very strong in doing that. So we see that in Lord Chaitanya, when as you see, there's a picture over there, he's sitting amongst the Mayavadis, very easily destroying their philosophy. So the work of the acharyas and the work of the line of disciplic succession, a lot of it is defeating this Mayavad philosophy because it is destructive philosophy. Mayavadi bhashya sunile haya sarvanas. So one who hears Mayavad philosophy, he's destroyed. His spiritual life is completely destroyed. Why? Because Mayavadi, how does this Mayavadi Krishna aparadhi, is that there's nothing in between that, right? Mayavadi Krishna aparadhi, because they are offenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And because Mayavadi philosophy is not just atheism. You see, there's like atheism, which who cares? I don't care that God exists. But then Mayavad philosophy is that, okay, there's God, I can become God also. The atheists, they're like, they just don't care He exists and they don't give a fig, okay. But the Mayavadis, they're envious of God. They want to become God. They want to be like God. Or they want to be God, not even like God. They are God, they think. So this Mayavad philosophy is anti-theism. It is against Krishna. It is they're acting as enemies of Krishna. Such people, they're fools, deride me when I descend in this form. They think that, this material world is illusion, so even Krishna who descends to this world, because he's in this world, he's also illusion. Therefore, you should not surrender unto Krishna, but you should surrender unto the unborn within, because Krishna is also illusion. His body is illusion, just like your body is illusion, and it's temporary. It's just that, like that, Krishna is also like that. But such people are rascals because they do not understand the transcendental nature of the pastimes, forms, and the what is being spoken about here, the abode of the Lord. So they they come to this platform or some twisted realization of that I am God, and therefore they plunder their own spiritual life and plunder the spiritual life of others. And Shankaracharya's line of philosophy has spread so much that, it's spread throughout the world. That's why Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantra is Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharya Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarya. To destroy impersonalism and voidism in the world. And that he has come to do that. He's the servant of Krishna who has come to do that. He's the servant of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur who has come to do that. So here, this Mayavad philosophy has become spread out, and although it is not exactly the Mayavad that you would see in traditional Mayavad philosophy, which is they're pretty strict and they're very, the way they practice and the way they do everything is quite amazing actually. It's what they can, the level of austerity that they practice is quite laudable to a great extent. Just like the Shivananda is there, who is quite an austere, very just ate no salt, wouldn't eat varieties of things, just straight up had this Mayavadi conception and would just practice it. They didn't see, he would, not see the difference. He would try not to see I guess he would, he would consider stool and food to be the same thing. And there's that one instance where some Mayavadi ate stool, saying, it's not different. So they're fools. Ultimately, they're fools. They may practice so many austerities and be so austere, but now what Mayavad has become is at least there was some level of philosophy so you could have a discussion. But the Mayavad philosophy you see nowadays is we're all God, you and me, we're all one. And there's love and there's compassion. And we're all full of love and we're all full of compassion. We're all compassion, we're all love, we're all peace. And it's just some nonsense philosophy. How do you apply all these things? Nobody knows. How do you apply all love? Everything is love, okay? How do you understand Israel and Palestine going into war? It's all love. So actually, nobody's getting hurt. Everything is love. Them shooting and killing each other, that's also love. That's your idea of life. Okay, the two people killing each other on the street, that's love actually, because it's all love. Why distinguish? It's everything is one, everything is love. Why are you distinguishing? So this new age Mayavad philosophy, it really brings one to just insanity. Because actually if you meet these people, they speak about all love and all compassion and all peace, but they're the most self-centered, egoistic, illusioned people that you meet in your life. You wish that you had never met them. You hope to never meet them. Just like nasty people. It's like this person just so egoistic and self-centric. It's just but you speak about love and compassion. And then even then there may be those who seemingly are practicing that, all compassion. So they go and build wells and hospitals and all this. What's the use of it all? You don't understand. It's the real thing that actually the spirit soul is there. And that one should benefit the spirit soul, and there's no real conception of that. So this Mayavad philosophy of love and compassion and all this brings one to a level of insanity. To such an extent, for practical reasons, we can speak so much philosophy, but for also practical, some on-field examples here. Let me see, where is this dude? Okay. So just talking with people, and this is what they know, because they hear Buddhism, which is just full of nonsense, just trash. That philosophy is so stupid, it doesn't make any sense. But it's just whatever. I don't know. It satisfied their false egos to some extent. So these people speak so much nonsense. You have to learn how to smash it, because we come in the line of doing such things. So we have to be expert in that. So this guy just goes on and on, but the thing here, this is where it starts to kind of build up a little more. It's not that our minds can categorize everything and come up with words to make things seem separate. They are great at it, but everything is, like you said, interdependent, connecting everything together. Without one thing, you wouldn't have this universe. It would be something else. Everything is playing a part like a clockwork. Okay, there's like whatever there, but without, and it begins here. Without my experience, I wouldn't have this personality. I think that the oneness plays a huge role in reincarnation. My goal is to break my samsara and such and such. It says, there is no distinguishment, just as you can see one fish trying to eat the other, and you can also see two fishes playing and swimming in circles. The distinguishment is just an illusion. So actually, a lot before that, Okay, so he says that anyways, I made the same point again to him to like, this is just like a conversation with like a guy who is like that. So you'll come across these people a lot within Krishna consciousness. So he says that, so I just asked him, he said, there's no distinguishment, it's just an illusion. Okay, so I said, would you swim with 2 sharks or 2 dolphins? You don't distinguish. It's just illusion. So, would you? He said, I suppose 2 dolphins. So why? And then he said, because of their intelligence and what I perceive as broader understanding of consciousness than what sharks are capable of. What do you mean? I perceive, okay, and then, so I just wrote, okay, so, but it's just a perception. So why make a distinction? Why allow your lower perception to act? In the dark, if I think the rope is a snake, then I'm scared and I won't. But if I'm in knowledge that rope is not a snake, then I don't need to make a distinction. I can pick the rope up, I can do I can go about my day. So if you are in knowledge that it is illusion, then it shouldn't affect you. Then there's no effect. Then nothing happens. What happens? Nothing. It's illusion. So you shouldn't care if you got thrown into the dolphins or whether you got thrown into the sharks. What difference does it make? Because ultimately, when you get there, it's just illusion. It's just initially it looks like it's like until you realize, like whatever, somebody may step on the rope from a distance, you think it's a snake, but until he comes to reality, it's like, oh, anyways, it's just a rope. So it was illusion. So it didn't affect him. It was an illusion. So similarly to you, it's an illusion. So do it. It doesn't affect you. So such people, they can argue on the level of just this mental platform, and they won't, he's not speaking any sense at all. Like, what the heck is he talking about? One fish trying to eat another, and then other fishes are swimming in circles. I'm like, this dude is crazy. And sometimes you... Huh? The fish that eats the other fish doesn't swim in circles with the fish. Yeah, but it's a... fish that swim in circles with each other. Yeah. Not the fish that eats the other. Yeah, so it's just like it's stupid, but you can't argue on them on that platform. You can't try to get philosophical with them. You just get practical with them. So what would you okay, so that's your philosophy, then what would you do? Oh, I wouldn't. Then that must mean that's not your philosophy then, because you have some idea, but you can't apply it. What's the use of your philosophy? And he's like, what did he say? He said, once again, you've proven a good point. You've given me a lot to think about. My belief hasn't changed, but you have given me questions I need to ask myself.
That's how they retreat into saying, I'm done, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't handle this anymore.
So...
That's a leave me alone.
And then later he asks, anyways, after that, when they leave you alone, you just have a conversation with them, and then they'll say things like, so what kind of music do you like? I'm like, it's like, well, I have this particular type of music, but for you, it doesn't make a difference, right? What's the difference? Why make a distinction between what is rock music and what is rap music? Why are you making a distinction? It's all an illusion, it's all the same, it's all whatever. Why are you liking it? Why are you what's wrong? And then, whatever. You can start to kind of you're just dumb. Your philosophy is stupid. And it's it doesn't make any sense. So such philosophies nowadays, it doesn't have a basis of understanding of what is spirit, what is matter, who's the controller of both. It's just dependent on, it sounds good and it makes me feel good, so let me try to see it, but let me try to understand it, but you can't understand it. Mayavad philosophy is you can't understand it because it doesn't make any sense. You can't understand it. Just like somebody put down on paper, and 1 + 2 is 6. It's like, how do I understand this? Like, how do I philosophically understand this? You don't. It's dumb. It's stupid. You fail the person. That's all. There's not much to understand. It's very straightforward. So the philosophy is not very difficult to defeat because it falls apart in every aspect when you understand the way that Srila Prabhupada is presented Krishna conscious philosophy. The way that it is been given. And Srila Prabhupada hits on these points all the time. Why? Why does Srila Prabhupada always hit on this point of Mayavad philosophy? Why?
Because it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Where else is it?
Within us all.
Yes. Because it's within us. Not that we're free from it. Just like Mukunda Maharaj was, he either writes in his book, or I heard from Guru Maharaj how Srila Prabhupada would hammer the Mayavadis, and the devotees used to think that he must have a friend back home he really doesn't like. This Swami, he really must not like this Mayavad. His name is Mayavadi, and he must really hate him. He just keeps going at him in all his lectures. And then later they realize, oh, we're the Mayavadis. It's like, oh, this is what he's talking about. So Mayavad is so prominent in our lives, we don't even know it. So we have to drive it out, because Rupa Goswami comments that until one drives out this intense mature desire and that Mayavad nature that we may have, until that is eradicated, it's very difficult to experience, well, one cannot experience the bliss of devotional service. So it is very important to have this very deep understanding of Krishna consciousness, not just on the platform of we're not the body, we're the soul, we're a servant of Krishna, but also very deep levels of understanding is how all these other philosophies are complete nonsense. And so we should, and Srila Prabhupada does that throughout his whole book. Yes, the basis of it is this, and that basis helps us establish everything else. So we should be able to defeat such thing with ease. It shouldn't, it's like just some person walks in and we can immediately just sit down with them and go, okay, they're going to just cut you down. Just like there was this guy who came from Georgia State, he's from India, and he studied some Mayavad philosophy and present all these things. But you're calm and cool, and because you know this guy's going to speak nonsense. And you grab them on a point and you hold them to it, and then they just, okay. I admit I'm defeated, but I'm only defeated because I don't know so much. What's wrong with you? It's like, it's just, and they'll never accept, like this guy here. It's like, okay, yeah, you've given me a lot to think about, and what I just said makes no sense at all, and I just realized that. You probably realized it a lot before, but you kept yourself in illusion. And so, but they're still like, oh, I can't disregard my belief. So hell-bent on the conditioned soul is so hell-bent on not worshipping Vishnu. He's just so hell-bent on not worshipping Krishna that he'll find any and every excuse in the book not to surrender to Krishna, even after you defeat them completely. So Prabhupada presents this philosophy of Mayavad in order for us to understand that is there within us also, in order to drive that out. Because without that, we will not be able to come to pure devotional service. We will not be able to understand pure devotional service or go on in pure devotional service, as Lord Chaitanya says. Just by hearing from such people, it destroys one's devotional service. So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada has presented us a proper understanding of the Vedic literatures, of Srimad Bhagavatam and all these things. He's presented to us the science of the soul, what is matter, what is spirit, who is the controller of both. One has to understand these things, otherwise he cannot understand God properly. Just like I've mentioned, the Christians do not understand this. So they do not understand the spiritual nature of God. So they materialize it, and as a result of that, it comes to a conclusion that God should provide me with my needs. I'm the enjoyer. Because with the proper understanding, one comes to the conclusion that God is the ultimate enjoyer. When there's proper knowledge, like the way that it's presented, who one is, what one's position is, such and such, then one comes to a proper conclusion of the constitutional position of the jiva. But with such philosophies where there is no understanding of what is matter and what is spirit, it comes to a conclusion of mostly just sense gratification, that we should enjoy and God is there to facilitate our enjoyment. It brings one to that. So Srila Prabhupada here, he presents this philosophy of Mayavad, and he presents here the standard understanding that we get in Bhagavad Gita of the nature of the spiritual world, how that's beyond the material world, and then and the different natures of it. Just like it's full of knowledge, full of bliss. Absence, the time is absence there, conspicuous by its absence. There's no past, present, or future. So it is eternal, transcendental. It is not, here Prabhupada says, there's no such actions and reactions of cause and effect there. So the cycle of birth, growth, existence, transformation, deterioration, annihilations, the 6 material changes are no existence there. It is an unalloyed manifestation of the energy of the Lord, without illusion as experienced here in the material world. So when you read all this, it's like there's no such actions and reactions of cause and effect. There's no time is conspicuous by its absence. You read all these things, you think, well, how can there be personality? How can there be all this? Well, that's the inconceivable nature of things. That's why one has to accept the authority of the Vedas. That's why the Mayavadis struggle, because they coming in with the preconceived notion that everything is impersonal. But we can see that beyond all these things, there is this transcendental nature of the world where there's a beautiful pastimes of Krishna. When one becomes devoid of this Mayavad philosophy and material desires within his heart, he can start to see Krishna face to face. And then one starts to see, it's quite wild. It's like you see some of these paintings and it's like, how is that possible? But one can actually start to realize that, because on the authority of the Vedas, on the authority of the spiritual master. So this Krishna consciousness movement, or the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the devotees in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have a duty to demolish the world juggery of the impersonalist in as many ways as possible. And when they are thoroughly exposed, and that none of their pillars supporting their errant doctrine is left standing, then none but the foolish will fall prey to their misleading conclusions. So one of the pure purposes of the Krishna consciousness movement is to smash Mayavad philosophy completely. That is what it means to be Krishna conscious. To completely smash Mayavad philosophy. Anyone that even goes on that route, just smash them. Doesn't mean that they'll take to Krishna consciousness. Because why? But because it says here, foolish, only the foolish will fall prey to their misleading conclusions. They are willingly diving into the deep, dark well in which they, after falling into it, as they can scream as much as they like, ask for as much help as they want, but nobody can help them, as the Srimad Bhagavatam describes. Nobody can help such a person. So the spiritual world is there, and it is very wonderful, it is very amazing, and it is inconceivable. Therefore, we take this authority of Srimad Bhagavatam, as Prabhupada comments here, that let us know through the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam of the nature and constitution of the transcendental world beyond the material sky. Let us not speculate upon this subject matter. Let us accept the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam, and let us go on performing devotional service and eradicating this Mayavad impersonalist philosophy, and let us also eradicate the desire for material enjoyment, because that's what Mayavad ultimately is the most intense desire for material enjoyment, because they want to be God. So Srila Prabhupada brings us to that point of real surrender to Krishna, real understanding of Krishna, full conception of Krishna consciousness. Not just, we're not sitting here preaching just love and peace, just love Krishna. Because we don't know how to particularly do that. And we have so many misconceptions, and we may try to do that with so many misconceptions within our hearts. So therefore we have to go through this of understanding all these different things of Mayavad, of removing material desire, such and such and such. Some people say, why do we have to do all this? Why can't we just hear about Krishna? Why don't we just discuss about Krishna? Mayavadis will speak like this often, actually. Those who are Mayavads, they will speak like this because they don't like to hear all these things. They don't like to hear that you're nonsense and that you shouldn't have this conception and that they're going to get smashed. They don't want to hear that. Most people just want to discuss, even people who, are new. They want to discuss, the love and compassion. No. Let's discuss all your misconceptions first. Let's smash those down before we come to a platform of even understanding who God is. Let's not even get to that point. You're thinking too far ahead. Let's establish some basic understandings, and then we can see if you're qualified to understand. These are the qualifications to first remove Mayavad. Otherwise, they'll just become offensive to Krishna. What is the point? What is the use in them understanding who Krishna is? And if they don't remove this core idea. Of course, we give them the holy name and they can hear from the devotees and that will take effect. But it has to be seen that is rooted out. That is rooted out. It's very, very clear. That without that, there's no question of them understanding anything and coming to any point or any feeling of devotion. Because it's just Mayavad philosophy is just envy, just pure envy. That's the definition of envy here. Mayavad philosophy, just pure envy of Krishna. So such rascals they are. Most people are actually in the modern. They're also innocent to some extent, just like we have experience of devotees who have come and they realize that they were wrong because that's just where they were, and they give it up like that and they accept Krishna. That means they were not envious; they were sincere. But they were somehow or rather by, circumstance, bad association, they came to that conclusion. But they were not envious of Krishna. They were just trying to seek the truth. But then you have those people that come and even after you smash them, they're like, "No, I'm still God." It's like, right? You're gonna suffer. So this is the nature of the Krishna consciousness movement. This is the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement. It is the purpose of Srila Prabhupada, as it is there, like I was mentioning in his pranam mantra. We should not shy away from this. We should be very conversant in this understanding how to defeat such rascals and show how that they're not very smart. Actually, they're stupid. They're just dumb. And then you can treat them like a kid, like, look at you. And then you can make fun of them, and you can just let them feel it. Look, you've tried to live like this, and you think you're so intelligent and wonderful, but actually you're so foolish. And hopefully they can understand, and then take up devotional service. Most of them will not, but some of them will be sincere to do it. So yeah, the spiritual world is very amazing, very wonderful, very beyond all these modes of ignorance and passions. It's a place of where there's every step is a dance and every word is a song. But to get there, it requires a lot of, like I mentioned, a lot of difficulties, a lot of deeper understandings, removing the false ego that we have, and coming to this pure understanding of Krishna consciousness that is provided in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll end my class there. And now we're not, for the rest of the marathon, we're not having comments or questions. If you do have questions or comments, we have prasadam to discuss over. And if the Matajis have anything, you can send that in the group chats or whatnot. So please forgive me if I've said anything that is out of line of the Guru Parampara. I do not intend to do such thing. It is my I may have some misconception or anything like that, but I've tried to assimilate what my spiritual master has said and present it to you as it is. So I'll end the class there. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.